Good evening, everyone. So today I'm going to discuss about test review for the second midterm exam. So already I have sent a review for you. I suppose all of you have tried for this one. First, let's see our first problem. It is given as suppose the annual profit for a store is given by this profit function. This is the profit function where x is the number of years past 2013. Actually, in this problem there is a typo. In here it must be 3, this value, and so first it is asked to find the inflection points. So we know if we need to find the inflection point, first we need to find the second derivative and then set it equal to 0. Second, it is asking check the concavity in these intervals, and as a third part it is asked what is the value of f double prime when x is equal to 0. So now let's go to our first problem, first part. So it is we need to find the second derivative. So this is our function, original profit function. Then I take the first derivative in here, then I take the second derivative in here. In here I have set my second derivative equal to 0. Then by solving this simple equation I can obtain x is equal to 5. So x is equal to 5 is an inflection point. In the second part we ask check the concavity in these intervals. So first interval is 0, 5. So consider this interval 0, 5. You can take any value in this interval. I shall take x is equal to 1. Then I need to plug in 1 for this p double prime. After that I can obtain this value is greater than 0. So the second derivative at 1 is positive, means this in this interval this function p is concave up. For the second interval it is given as interval is 5, 7. Then here I shall take x is equal to 6 because 6 is the value in between 5 and 7. Then after plugging 6 for the second derivative in here, I can obtain it as a negative value. So second derivative at 6 is negative, means in this interval p is concave down. I think third part is a super easy one. It is asking what is the value for p double prime x when x is equal to 0. So already you have found the second derivative. Then you need to plug 0 for this given function. After plugging you can obtain this one becomes 0 and remaining part is this one, so it is 6. Okay, then next move to our second problem. Second problem is given some graph, then you ask some problems. So first it is asking what is the sign of f double prime in AC interval. So this is the AC interval. In this interval you can see if we draw tangent at any place, this graph is always downward to this tangent. So it means in this AC this function is concave down. So concave down means second derivative is negative. So then you can write f double prime is negative. And for the second part it is asking what is the sign of f double prime in EF interval. So this is the EF interval. So you can see in this interval this function is increasing. So function is increasing means first derivative is positive. So in here the sign is positive. So as it is increasing, we can say clearly in this interval the sign of the first derivative is positive. I think third one is super easy one. It is asked when x is equal to b in this point, what is occur in here. So clearly it is a maximum. We already have discussed such things. If this occurs it is a maximum, if this occurs it is a minimum. And in part 4 it is also easy, when x is equal to d in this point. So you can see if we take any little neighborhood before d and after d, this function is always increasing. If the sign of the first derivative doesn't change, it means it is inflection point. So for the part 3 it is super easy question, so it is a maximum, and when x is equal to d it is an inflection, because the reason is derivative of f doesn't change the sign in between any neighborhood of this given point d. Third problem, it is given as related to with your 1330 course, because already you have learned that profit is equal to revenue minus cost. P is our profit is equal to revenue minus cost. So this is the basic thing you need to know in here, otherwise you can't solve this problem. So first it is given revenue function is 14 times x and cost function is 100 plus 30 times x plus 0.1 x square. So first it is asked to find profit when x is equal to 100, but directly we can't do it. First we need to calculate our profit function. So using this formula, p is equal to r minus c, I have substitute my revenue function in here and my cost function in here. Especially when you are writing these things, please memorize to use brackets, otherwise your final answer become wrong. So then we can obtain when this is our profit function, then it is asked to find the value of the profit function when x is equal to 100. So you need to substitute 100 for this profit function, then you can obtain this value. So it is negative 100. Then let's move to our second part, find the marginal profit function. So already you have learned, if it is asking marginal profit, what you need to do, you need to take the first derivative of the profit function. So this is your profit function, this one, then take the first derivative, p prime, then you can obtain this value. So this is your marginal profit. In third part it is asking find marginal profit at x is equal to 100 and explain what it predicts. So you need to find marginal profit when x is equal to 100. Only thing you need to do is you need to substitute 100 for this marginal profit. So it is 10 minus 0.2 times 100. So it becomes negative 10. Actually in my answer key I have made some mistake. One of the students showed me that it must be negative 10. Yes, this is the correct answer for this part 3. And then let's move to our fourth problem. It is asked find the profit at 101 item minus profit of 100 item and explain what this value represents. So first substitute 101 for the profit function and calculate the value, then substitute 100 for the function and calculate the value, then take the difference, then you can obtain negative 10.1. So it means the sales of the 101 item will decrease the profit by $10.1. The reason is to become a decreasement because it is a negative sign. So clearly you can see when in it is 100 items, this is the profit, and when 101 items sold, this is the profit. So it is decreasement. So that is why I called when we change from 100 to 101, it has decreased the profit by this amount. Okay, so this is our fourth problem. Here it is asked, first you have given some polynomial function, y is equal to 2 times x to the power 3 minus 12 times x to the power 2 plus 6. Find the critical points of this function. It is part 1. And part 2, find the points of maximum and minimum. And part 3, draw the graph of y. So if you need to find the critical points, first you need to take the first derivative and then set it equal to 0. So this is the original function, and to find critical points we need to take the first derivative of y. So this is the first derivative, then set it equal to 0 in here. So we can obtain two parts. x times 6 times x minus 24, then here x is equal to 0 or x is equal to 4 are two critical points of this function. In part 2 it is asked find the points of maximum and minimum. So here you can use first derivative test or second derivative test, but I think in here I suggest second derivative test because it is more easy. First plug in, take the second derivative, so it is 12 times x minus negative 24, then plug in 0, then it becomes negative 24. So the second derivative is negative, means it is a maximum occurs at x is equal to 0. So after confirming when x is equal to 0 it is a maximum, you need to find corresponding y value. So it is 6. So 0, 6 is the maximum point. Then go to the second point, it is 4. As usually, first plug in this 4 to a second derivative, and then you can obtain it is a positive 24. So second derivative is positive, means it is concave up, so it means this point is a minimum. So minimum occurs at when x is equal to 4, and you need to find the coordinate in here. So to find y value, plug in 4 this original function, then you can obtain negative 58. So 4 comma negative 58 is the maximum point. So this must be minimum point. Okay, I don't suppose to discuss about problem 5 because already we have discussed problem 5 in our class. Then let's move to our 6th problem. It is little bit tricky one because here it is mentioned that according to Poisson's law, the speed of blood through an artery of radius r at a distance x from the artery wall is given by this formula, where k is a constant. So already it is given that k is a constant, and find the distance x that maximize the speed. So here first you need to know speed is given as this function, it is s, and k is a constant, and also r is a constant. So here x is the only variable. So now when we need to find maximum or minimum, already I have taught in the class that we need to take the first derivative. So take the first derivative of this function s, then you can obtain this amount. Then secondly set it equal to 0. After solving you can obtain r is equal to x. So here we can think it may be occur maximum or minimum when x is equal to r, but here we need to confirm whether x is a maximum or minimum. So to check it, we can use first derivative test or second derivative test, but I suggest in here second derivative test is easy. So again take the second derivative, take the derivative of this s, then second derivative is negative 2 times k. So already this is a positive, so totally this become negative. So second derivative is negative, means this become maximum when x is equal to r. So store in here in this line, I mean across the radius flowing, this the speed of this water flowing become maximum. Okay, thank you everyone, and good luck for your midterm exam.